Hey everyone, welcome back to Historical Wanderings. I'm here today at Seminary Ridge in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, for a special walking tour of the Lutheran Theological Seminary grounds. This 52-acre campus has an incredible dual identity. It was America's oldest Lutheran seminary and a crucial Civil War battlefield location. Today, we are going to walk the entire grounds of this historical seminary, exploring how this religious institution found itself at the literal crossroads of the American history. Unfortunately, we won't be able to go inside any of the buildings today, but there's plenty to see as we explore the exterior of this exterior spaces where history unfolded. Let's start our journey. Founded in 1826 by Samuel Simon Schmucker, this was America's oldest Lutheran seminary until it merged with the Philadelphia Lutheran Seminary in 2017 to form United Lutheran Seminary. The seminary began with only 8 students in downtown Gettysburg before relocating to this ridge in 1832. This impressive brick building, Schmucker Hall, became the heart of the seminary and played a vital role during the Civil War. Up there is the famous cupola that served as a Union observation post during the Battle of Gettysburg. Union General John Buford used it to spot Confederate movements on July 1st, 1863. While we can't go up there today, just imagine the panoramic view of approaching Confederate forces he would have seen. Next, let's look at what remains of the original campus layout. Between 1833 and 1834, 2 brick homes were constructed on either side of the seminary building as housing for professors. These 3 buildings, well, you can't see it from here, but and the 2 professor homes were the only structures on the grounds for the first 40 years. Between July 1st and September 16th, 1863, the seminary grounds served as one of the largest field hospitals in Gettysburg. While we can't go inside Schmucker Hall today, it's important to know that hundreds of wounded soldiers were treated in and around this building. The Union First Corps established their medical operations here, and the building would eventually house almost 700 patients. Approximately 70 of whom died here. So you can possibly say that this is one of the most haunted buildings, possibly. I haven't heard anything about there being too many ghosts here, or whatever you want to paranormal activity here. But hey, it's possible. Most wounded were transferred to other facilities as their conditions stabilized, but Lieutenant Colonel George McFarland of the 101st Pennsylvania infantry remained until September, becoming the longest and last patient at the old dorm. Yeah, it's a beautiful day today. I mean, can't complain about the weather today. And yesterday even. I mean, it would have been nice to actually get a start on this, maybe even finish this yesterday. But I spent time with my niece and nephew, so there's that. But today was actually more ideal of the 2 days, if you ask me. I am glad I got out here today. Trees are blooming, things are turning green. Spring is officially here. Warm season has begun. And this is a pretty good view of the seminary grounds right here. A good view of Valentine Hall, Schmucker Hall, Chapel. I don't even know if refectory over there. Again, a beautiful day today. And you can definitely see that we got some rain recently. Yeah, we've gotten a decent amount of rain. So the groundwater is pretty damn good at this point. But right now, we are now walking along Seminary Ridge itself, one of the most important tactical positions during the first day of the Battle of Gettysburg. This ridge was occupied longer than any other portion of the battlefield by one army or another, for all 3 days of the battle and beyond. Right around here, Union troops established defensive positions as Confederate forces advanced on July 1863. Union riflemen positioned themselves around the seminary buildings over here and grounds, trying desperately to hold their position. In that direction, along the Blue Ridge Mountains, or the Appalachian Mountains, and then McPherson's Ridge and McPherson's Farm, and Reynolds Woods in that direction, is where the Confederate forces pushed forward from that area. And eventually, the Union position here became untenable. General Buford ordered a retreat through these grounds, past these buildings, into the town itself. You cannot see the town itself from here because the ridge and the buildings cover it up. But in that direction, to Cemetery Hill. That strategic retreat and the new defensive position ultimately helped the Union win the Battle of Gettysburg. Well, I can't tell where the cannons were placed during the battle, but on this ground. But this area was also used as a heavily concentrated artillery platform during the battle. More than 20 United States cannon occupied this campus on July 1st, and after the Union retreat, 18 cannon took their place. Confederate cannon took their place on July 2nd and 3rd. The seminary grounds provided a perfect elevated position for artillery, because you could pretty much see this whole entire area, and then past these buildings you could see through the whole entire town of Gettysburg, probably easily to Cemetery Hill. In that direction, don't think you can see it, but if we walk down, you can see the Mary Thompson house, which was General Robert E. Lee's headquarters after the first day's fighting, and Confederate artillery on its ridge supported their famous attack on the Union Center. In that direction isn't the main area that, along this whole ridge, past this, from General Lee's headquarters over there, and along this line, and then past through those trees into those woods. That line is where the Confederates held, and in that area is where Pickett's charge happened, and the cannons in this area assisted in the fateful charge called Pickett's Charge. We will get more on that later. But that fateful charge, happened on July 3rd. And it's nice to be able to see birds like that. Let's head over to the Church of the Abiding Presence, which serves as the seminary's chapel. Unlike the Civil War era buildings, this was built during the 1940s, almost 100 years later, and was dedicated in 1942. And the thing is, this building was built during World War II, since that ran from 1938 to 1945. So, buildings like this were around during the Civil War, and then the chapel during World War II. So, these grounds saw quite a few World War eras. These are historic grounds. And here's a bee pollinator. It's good to see all these flowers in bloom, and it's a beautiful day. This is a pretty sight. All the dandelions. Dandelions are reeds, according to us, but to me, they are beautiful, so I do like them. Here's an interesting fact. This was the first building construction facing west. As you can see, the entrance is right there. So the entrance is facing west. As you can tell, that's where the sun is right now, and it's coming up on sunset in a few hours, and soon the sun will be setting right there, and that's the west. And that is where the Confederates came from. And in the east, you can start seeing the town from here. Still can't fully see it, but east of here is where the Union retreated to Cemetery Hill to hold the fish hook, which we'll get more on later. But rather than east like all the older buildings, why? Because the government's road built through the campus, which I assume is this road right here. As you can see by the yellow lines right there. in 1895 was bringing everyone to the seminary's back doors. And over there, yeah, this is the back of the Schmucker Hall and Valentine Hall, because they all were facing east, where the sun rose. I mean, both sunrises and sunsets are beautiful, but in this whole line, yeah, those are back doors. This is the front door. So yeah, this road was bringing them all to the back doors, all the tourists to the back doors of the buildings, when the front doors are in that direction. The architects made a practical decision to reorientate new construction. Today, this chapel hosts weekly worship services, community events, and concerts. Concerts, eh? Might be worth checking out. And fuck it, I may check out worship and some of their community events sometime. Why not? It's still very much an active part of campus life. Now let's check out Valentine Hall. Built in the mid-1890s, more than 30 years after the battle. This building houses administrative offices, classrooms, and the Gettysburg Black History Museum. So there's two museums to check out, the Seminary Ridge Museum and the Black History Museum. So when we get a chance, probably gonna do this first, the Seminary Ridge Museum first, and then the Black History Museum next. Speaking of Black history, did you know the seminary established progressive credentials very early? In 1835, 40, 50, about 25 years before the battle, they admitted Daniel Alexander Payne as their first black student. Payne had previously run a school for African American youth in Charleston, South Carolina, until that state made it illegal to teach literacy to African Americans. He later became America's first black college president at Wilberforce University. Over here is the A.R. Wentz branch of the United Lutheran Seminary Library. While the current building was constructed in 1947, the library collection traces its roots to the very formation of the Lutheran theological education in the United States. Benjamin Kurtz of the Evangelical Lutherans General Synod solicited contributions of money and books for the new seminary in Gettysburg, and the library still possesses those first donations. Today, it houses a collection of over 128,000 titles and seminary archives. And look at this tree. It's fucking huge, isn't it? These trees. One second. These trees right here had to have been here during the battle. So they're huge and have to be witness trees. Not officially, but they must have been here since even possibly before the seminary was here, which means these trees have seen everything. Well, maybe not everything, but a lot. So yeah, kind of wish I could be in those trees' roots and observe what they have seen. It would have been pretty damn cool. This part of campus features more modern buildings, including Hedges Hall and Stumpfile Hall, both built in 1974 to provide housing for seminary students and their families. While not historically significant from the Civil War era, they represent the continuing education mission of the seminary.